In a show of unity, House Democrats elect Hakeem Jeffries minority leader. A new trio, including Representatives Katherine Clark of Massachusetts as number 2 and Pete Aguilar of California as number 3, will take the reins in January, replacing Speaker Nancy Pelosi and her team. House Democrats on Wednesday elected a new generation of leaders to take the mantle from the 3 octogenarians who have led them for 2 decades, installing a trio of top leaders that, for the first time in congressional history, includes no white men. In a display of unity after midterm elections in which they lost the House but had a stronger than expected showing, Democrats skipped a vote and by acclamation elected Representative Hakeem Jeffries of New York to be minority leader, making him the first black person to claim the top spot. Representative Katherine Clark of Massachusetts was elected as whip, the lead vote counter for House Democrats, and Representative Pete Aguilar of California as the chairman of the party caucus, in charge of messaging. Mr. Jeffries, 52, Ms. Clark, 59, and Mr. Aguilar, 43, who for years have positioned themselves as an unofficial joint slate and patiently waited their turn, ran unopposed after Speaker Nancy Pelosi, the California Democrat who has led the party for 2 decades, announced after the midterm elections that she would step aside, paving the way for fresher faces at the top of her party. Representative Steny H. Hoyer of Maryland, the majority leader, had considered trying to remain in leadership and said he had the support to do so, but ultimately decided against it. And Representative Adam B. Schiff of California had considered a challenge to Mr. Jeffries for the post of minority leader, but many Democrats said he lacked the votes. Last week, Mr. Schiff told Mr. Jeffries that he was instead exploring a run for Senate, and wished the representative well in the upcoming leadership election, according to a person familiar with the private conversation who disclosed it on the condition of anonymity. The mood was jubilant on Wednesday inside the ornate committee hearing room, across from the Capitol where Democrats met to elect their new leaders. "We want Petey Pie," lawmakers chanted as they nominated Mr. Aguilar, using a nickname his grandmother gave him, according to 2 people in the room. At another point, Representative Terry Sewell of Alabama led a call-and-response chant for Mr. Jeffries, borrowing a lyric from the rapper Biggie Smalls, whom Mr. Jeffries famously quoted on the Senate floor during former President Donald J. Trump's first impeachment trial. "If you don't know," Ms. Sewell shouted out, "now you know," the members called back. Afterward, Mr. Jeffries nodded to the historic nature of his election, saying, "I stand on the shoulders of Shirley Chisholm and others," a reference to the former representative from his district who in 1968 became the first black woman to be elected to Congress. Democrats, for the most part, said they saw the lack of competitive races as a sign of strength and unity, and a stark contrast to the fractured Republican conference. Representative Kevin McCarthy, the Republican leader, is struggling to win the support he needs to become Speaker amid a revolt on his right flank. A historically weak midterm performance has handed the GOP a thin House majority for the next Congress, making the job of leading it exceedingly difficult.